this is not my business.
What's up, guys? Hello! Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Chelsea. For those just now seeing my face, okay, y'all, we're rocking and grooving this year. I'm uploading videos, we're getting it together. I wasn't gonna upload anything else in the month of March. However, I just had a test from the universe and from God, or whatever you want to call it, and I failed miserably. So let's talk about it, right? Today is Tuesday, yes. And I had a panic attack at work on Sunday, to the point that I had to leave early, and I took off yesterday, which was Monday, as a result of it. And I have not had a genuine panic attack in years, and the fact that it happened at work was even more concerning to me. So I needed to take a step back and try to figure out like what exactly was going on. So I, over my 20s, have tried to get better at just going to these jobs, doing my damn job, and going home, which I have gotten much better at. A lot of times I like go in, I observe, I see some, nonsense go on, but a lot of times I just let it go, right? So this particular job that I'm working at now, it's a simple job. I'm gonna start there. It's a very simple job. A lot of these jobs that, whether you're working retail, serving, corporate, doesn't matter. A lot of them, the task itself is super easy. However, I feel like it never fails. You come across these either co-workers or these managers or somebody in the workplace that is supposed to be in charge of something or taking a part in something that does not know what the hell they're doing. And I cannot be the only person that annoys the ever-loving out of you. I can't be the only one, because like I said, those of us, including myself, that have a natural leader mindset. We like to be leaders. We like to take over. We like to, get shit done. But a lot of times when we do, the shit gets done though. I have quickly realized that is just part of my personality. That's why I'm trying very hard to get out of the 9-to-5 business. I'm trying to create my own business so I can do that, because like I said, natural boss. However, let's get to the task at hand of what happened, of why I had a panic attack at work recently, and why taking a step back after that incident made me realize where my mess up was and what I'm gonna do from here on out until I'm able to leave the 9-to-5. So the job that I work at, the structure that they have to have their managers is a little old school / I don't even know how it worked from the jump of this business, but basically the way that they do it is that they bring in their managers as managers in training, which a lot of companies do that, but this particular company does not necessarily train their managers to be managers. They focus so much on them getting sales and qualifying for a matrix scale, or however you want to put it, in order to advance into another, basically move up, if that makes sense. So the only way that you can move up in this company to become a manager is if you hit your sales, and that's it pretty much. There's no other qualification, you just hit your sales, which that tends to be a bad thing, especially because once you hit after assistant manager, they bump you up to a station manager, and station manager is when you actually get into the managing part of it, like you're running a shift, you're in charge of employees, it's like you're actually a manager. So with that in mind, you got to think about it. These people that started, including myself, I'm in the manager training program as well. These people that started, they are heavily focusing on sales and not necessarily focusing on how to teach them to be managers and to manage a business and to manage a shift and talk to employees and talk to people. They're not learning that skill. So they're putting a bunch of people who are very underqualified for the job that they're about to take on, and just putting them up there and saying, hey, you can do this because you're a really good salesman, which on paper, that sounds good, but in reality, it's very, very trash that's what they do to these people. However, keep that in context. We're rounding it out here, okay? So with that being said, I work with a station manager that is a little bit younger than me, which I have no issue with managers that are younger than me as long as you know what the hell you're doing. But this particular manager does not know what the hell he's doing. And it shows that he's a really good salesman, but a trash manager. So every time I am on a shift with this guy, I'm already aware that something is going to go wrong at some point in the night. And because I have displayed my leadership skills at this job and they know, a lot of the upper management knows that I can handle things well and all that other kind of stuff. They tend to lean on me for certain things. However, I've quickly realized that they can take advantage of that very quickly. A lot of jobs do that. I know when I'm working on this shift with this guy, I already have to be in the mindset of being calm, being collective, because stuff's going to go wrong. It's going to hit the fan. I have never worked a single shift with this person and the shift goes correctly. It just never happens, because he's one of those managers that tend to react instead of being proactive. Instead of getting prepared for your shift, getting what you need to do, putting your people in place, you wait until shit hits the fan and then you want to react, and now everything's a mess and you don't know what to do and you're scrambling. Like, that is pretty much his managing style. And I know for me, I'm a Virgo moon, I'm a Sag rising. Like, any of y'all that know a Virgo know we like routine and structure. And just because I'm a Cancer does not mean that that Virgo moon does not kick out of me. I'm very much the same way. I like routine, structure, I like things to go correctly, right? So trigger number one was that he doesn't do that. So I already know that. So a lot of times when I go to this shift, I try to go to another section, just mind my business. I talk to him over the walkie and that just be that. I try to distance myself because I know that his managing style triggers like the way that I like to function in life in general, right? So I try to combat that. I'm like, I'm gonna just come to work, stay to myself, do my job, go home, right? Now, this was Sunday. Sunday is typically our busier days at night, typically from 5 to when I get off at 1 a.m. in the morning. And what happened was, is that I noticed that we were not set up for the night. And I got on the walkie and I asked my manager, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you know, we're not set up when the customers come, like it's gonna be a really big situation, like what are we going to do? And he just kind of hit me with the, oh, it's gonna be fine, we'll be fine, okay? That's already triggering me because like I said, I like for things to be structured and routine and we're all set up and we're ready to go, we can rock and roll, because I hate, like I always put myself in the customer's shoes and I work at the airport, so I hate when I'm not set up for my shift because I get it, like you've been flying all day, you just want to get in, get out, go to your hotel. I was already trying to be proactive. This was 3 hours before doomsday happened. The first hour of doomsday, we got customers coming and we don't have the things that we need for them and it's getting crazy, and I'm like on the walkie again, I'm like, hey, you know, what are we going to do? What's going on? And I'm still getting the, oh, we'll be fine. And I'm in my head like,
no, we are not fine.
At this point, I'm starting to get irritated because I'm one of those people that if I start to feel unstable, then that automatically triggers my hyper independency, meaning that I feel like I have to kick it into gear and get the shit done myself. And I don't like to do that, especially at jobs that are paying minimum wage or a little bit over, because 9 times out of 10, you go through all of that stress of like doing it yourself and getting it done, and then you don't get recognized for it, you get burned out for it, or the job recognizes that that's what you're doing and they take advantage of you. So a lot of times I try not to do that, but I just know me as a person that tends to happen, whether in jobs, relationships, doesn't matter. Like if you're making me feel unstable, my hyper independence is gonna kick in, and now I feel like, okay, you can't do your job, so now I have to, and now we have a problem at that point. So now I'm scrambling around trying to get it done, trying to save face, I'm trying to do whatever, because I hate for my shift to be chaotic, and this manager never fails, makes my life chaotic. So I'm like, okay, let me just try to do damage control, so I'm doing that, right? And then at this point in the shift, like now, he's starting to realize that we don't have the things that we need, and there's no time for us now to get the things that we need to have a productive shift. So remember what I said, he's one of those people that are reactive instead of being proactive, right? So now he's freaking out. Now he's on a walkie, he's freaking out. He's like, okay, well, I need people here, and here. And I'm like, well, honey, it's Sunday. We don't have the staff that we normally would do on a regular day to get this stuff done. It's too late now, because we had a little bit of staff like during the beginning of my shift, but they leave at night. It's Sunday. So I'm like, there is nobody. Like, what are you planning on doing? Because I'm constantly, at this point, I'm overly communicating. I'm like, what are we going to do? This is how much I have of this, how much I have of that. Like, I'm like really trying to kick it into gear, like what are we going to do? Now at this point, imagine if we're on a train. I started to chug a little bit that first time you didn't get it, but now that we're 2 hours into the chaoticness, now I'm chugga choo choo about to run over you, bitch. Because at this point, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and now I have to do it. So at this point, I'm like, forget what you're saying, I'm taking over, okay? So like I said, at this point, the Virgo moon and the Sag rising is like, bitch, let's go. So at this point, I'm taking over. I'm communicating with my other coworkers. I'm like, you go here, let's do this. Like, I'm like, at this point, I'm in full, like, now I have to do your job. And what was making me upset was that I'm doing that, right? I'm like getting everything where it needs to go. I'm trying to pull shit out my ass. Like, I'm making things happen. And the manager, he's still struggling and scrambling and losing his shit in a corner basically, and doesn't know what to do. Now mind you, he's not even in the same spot that I am. He's supposed to though. He's not even there. I don't know where the hell he went, but he went somewhere, and he's not even seeing what's on the ground, like what's going on at, you know, customer facing. He's not there. And he's steady on the walk. He's steady trying to give orders when the orders are either it doesn't make any sense, or he's telling us stuff to do that we already did like 10 or 20 minutes ago to keep this train moving along. So now I'm on the walkie like, dude, we've already done that. We've already done this. Like, where are you? Like, what's going on? And it's at this point, like I said, my blood pressure, it's rising, it's rising, it's rising. And I'm like, dude, like, where are you? Like, why are you not doing your job? You are the manager, like, manage. At this point, I'm up here, my other coworkers, they're also getting frustrated, but they're also coming to me now because I'm the only person that's communicating with them to try to get things done. So now I'm trying to work with them. Like, it's a whole situation. Out of all that chaoticness, this manager decides to shut, we had 3 counters open, basically decides to shut all of them down and have everybody move to one smaller counter, and expected me to take care of everything. Because typically we have a system where you check in with one person, you check in with another, and then you get out. You know, it's just like it's a system, right? So he eliminated all of those checkpoints to just make it into one checkpoint for me to do all of it. And it was at that point I lost my I was like, absolutely the fuck not. How the did it become Chelsea like taking care of everything, and you go and do, I don't know, cry in a corner? I don't know. So at this point, I go up to the counter that's supposed to open. At this point, I'm breathing heavy. I'm low-key crying because I'm upset and I want to fight. And I'm like realizing that my breath is starting to, and it's involuntary, so I can't control it. And then it hit me like, oh shit, I'm having a panic attack. So at this point, I'm like, oh no, we're not doing this. I'm finna go home. I'm like, calm myself down enough to where I try to take care of the customers that are there. I need to take a step away because I'm having a panic attack. I'm crying. I want to fight. This is a whole situation. I'm cussing, I'm crying. It's just a whole situation. So I take a step back. I'm talking to one of my coworkers because he's also talking to me like, what the fuck is going on outside? I said, I don't know. So we're having a, you know, just a venting session. And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I could not finish my shift. Now mind you, this was like an hour out from my shift ending anyway, so it's not like I left in the middle of my shift, but however, I was like, I need to go home because I'm having a panic attack. So I text my area manager. I said, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm having a panic attack. This has been very stressful and an unorganized shift. That's what I said. I didn't text and say, oh, the manager did this at the third. Like, I didn't even go into detail. I just said it was super stressful and unorganized. I left early, and then I took the next day off. And then in the midst of me taking that next day off, I really thought about it. I'm like, okay, why was I triggered so easily? What was going on with that? Because I haven't had a panic attack at work. I don't think I've ever had a panic attack at work. I mean, not even when Amazon fired me did I have a panic attack. Well, no, I lied. I did have a panic attack when they were interrogating me. So I haven't had a panic attack at a job in 2 years. I lied. So I haven't had one in a really long time. So it kind of threw me off, like, that I was having it. So I was like, what triggered that? Like, what was going on? So I really had to think about it. And here's 2 things I thought about. One, where my mess up was that I forgot my own teachings. I forgot that at the end of the day,
this is not my business.
This is not my business.
it's not. And a lot of us who tend to have like leadership, you know, attributes that are like a boss mentality, we forget that. Those of us who still have to work 9 to 5s until we can have our business, we forget that. Or even if you don't want to own a business, you just have a natural leader mindset. this video is for you, hands down, because at the end of the day, this is not your business. And I needed to remember that. I took a step back and I needed to remember that. Not my monkeys, not my circus. That needs to be my mantra from here on out, because that's where I messed up at. I was caring way too much about a business that's not mine, that barely pays me enough for what I do. That's just the truth about a lot of these jobs. They don't care enough about you for you to stress, for you to get sick, for anything like that. They don't care enough for you to be putting your own mental and physical health in jeopardy. And that's where I messed up at. I, for a moment, had a test from years ago, because like I said, I've made videos about this in the past where I've gotten too wrapped up in jobs, too, you know, wanting to help, wanting to fix things and all the other kind of stuff. I've had this lesson before, but I did not realize that I thought I was done with this cosmic cycle of this, you know, and apparently the universe was like, no, we just took a dormant of you taking your final test, and I failed. I failed it, and I have no issue with saying that I failed it, and it's probably gonna come back again on me just to redo it again. But like I said, I needed to take a step back and I needed to really think about it, because that is what the main trigger was. The main trigger was, well, it's two triggers. The main one was simply that I was feeling unstable. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with the job, because if we're just being honest, like, I don't feel stable in my life. I don't feel stable financially. I don't feel stable emotionally a lot of the times. And I also realized that I have abandonment issues, and that's part of me feeling unstable. That was trigger number one for me that I'm working on, that I realized that's a personal thing. And two, like I said, my boss mentality, we need to minimize her. I need to give her a name, my like boss-like mentality, because don't get me wrong, I love her. Like, she is the main reason why, like, I want to start a business. I've been business planning, I've been saving up money. Like, I love her, don't get me wrong, I love her, but she needs to take a nap when I'm at these 9-to-5 jobs, because I don't get paid enough. These jobs don't care enough. Not my monkey, not my circus. This is not your business, right? And I'm talking to people out there and future me. This is not your business. So if they want to run it into the ground, if they want to be chaotic, if they want to do whatever they want to do, then just let it happen. Like I said, I don't get paid enough to show my ideas, to show that I'm a leader worthy, none of that, especially at this job, because like I said, they don't promote people based off of who's the best manager anyway. They base it off of how much sales you have in the first place, which that could be anybody. Just because somebody can sell something does not mean they'll make a good manager, because a lot of times those people are not good people. They're just not. Like, most of them people are really good car salesmen, and who the fuck likes to go to a car lot right now? We would much rather go and buy a car off of online that we've never seen in person, never test drive, just to avoid those types of people. Take my story as a word of the wise, a cautionary tale. I thought I learned this lesson. Now I'm thankful that it happened, because it made me realize that I'm not quite over it yet. I'm not quite to a point where I can just let things happen and let things be great. Like I said, I know that the Virgo in me tends to take over, because I like for things to go my way. I like for things to be planned out, structured, routine. I do love that. It makes me feel stable. Like I said, remember that, it makes me feel stable. So when things start to go cattywampus on me, at that point I feel like it's not stable anymore, so now I have to kick it into hyper mode to make it stable again, you know what I mean? And that's, like I said, it's not a bad thing to have that attribute. However, I'm learning, you know, to hone in on my superpowers, to control my superpower and insert it where it needs to be. If you're one of those people that you're in a good position that pays you enough to insert your, you know, opinion and your dominance and your leadership roles, then do that. Like, that's, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to those of us who are not in leadership roles, or who are in leadership roles and don't get paid enough to be dealing with the nonsense. Because 9 times out of 10, these bigger corporations, these franchise corporations, however you want to put it, they have these set rules that are made by people who have not set foot in a local branch or a local store in God knows how long, and is out of touch with what is actually going on the ground. So now you're just dealing with the aftermath and the chaoticness of their decisions up top. But like I said, what can you do about it? It's not your monkey, not your circus. It's not your business. It's not your business. So it's like, you can't really do much about it. All you can do is control your reactions and your emotions and your shift, honestly. And like I said, I'm just gonna take this as a learning curve for myself. I'm fine now. I took a day off. I worked out. I'm totally good now, so I don't have another panic attack. Going back to my shift later on this week, I'm definitely going to take it in a different light of like, Chelsea, this is not your business. You shouldn't give a damn. You shouldn't, because I don't. I should not give a damn. It doesn't matter. All my effort, all of that happened that night, right? All of that chaoticness, all of me trying to step up and be the manager, all of that was for literally nothing. Literally nothing, because did I get a phone call from a manager saying, oh, thank you, Chelsea, for stepping up. Oh, thank you, Chelsea, for being there. Oh, thank you. And did I get a thank you in general for keeping that shit together? No. And that is my exact point. I did all of that, having a panic attack and all of that shit for nothing. If anything, I hope that makes sense. I hope that kind of helps somebody else with this journey. Let me know if this video helped somebody or if it made any sense to you guys. Like I said, I just need to honestly talk it out and have a heart-to-heart with myself so that I can do better in the future. But as always, make sure you guys comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I am going to see you guys later.